Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Saturday, June 11th, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We are going to have a little fun day looking at the 6th episode of the first season of the Conan the Adventurer animated series from 1992. As a review from a DM's perspective, looking at what's involved in the episode, the various visual elements. We'll talk a bit about the story element, although there can be no audio with what we're showing because of infringement issues. But we can show the video without sound and discuss it as we go. Yeah, if you own a copy, watch it, pause this, watch it, and then come back and check it out with us. Or catch us on YouTube later if you're with us on the stream and you want to actually be more fully aware of what's going on in the episode before picking up on this here, then certainly do that. Any which way you want to go. In any event, why don't we go ahead and start her off. You get the sound down, there we go. Every now and then when I do that, it pops back on. You know what? Let's throw me in the corner. Do we care if I'm there or not? I'll make myself real tiny. Hardly even here. Look at me. I'm almost nothing. We'll move that over a little bit. And then I can be a little bigger. Still not be involved. So, wonderful. The way they use the theme to set the stage and recap. Good DMing tip right out of the gate is to remind your players what's at stake every time you have a game. If they've gotten involved in something, don't forget, they're not living in the skins of those characters 24/7. So there are things those characters would remember and consider right up front. And you've got to know that the players would probably remember that stuff too. So we get an overview of what's up with Conan. We get an overview of the fact that there's this evil priest of Set, the serpent god, who has turned his grandfather and his parents to stone, to living stone, they're quick to mention. Let's not forget this is a early 90s series. Conan the Gladiator, written by Buzz Dixon, the only episode he ever wrote. On the DVD, this comes in episode 6, and that's the order in which we're doing things. But Conan trying his hand at magic after Zula has taught him how to summon animals. He wants to summon a lion. Oh, well, okay. Maha. Fortunately, one of Zula's tribe mates gets the action going on this episode by showing up and saying, Zula's father, the king, wants to see you. You're taking over for Zula. Zula's dead. What? What the heck? This is news. This is not welcome news. This is bad news. Well, they go to the kingdom. Wasai, I believe, is the name of the tribe. And he says, I can't believe it. Zula's dead. No, he's dead for sure. Our shaman, who those of you who are keeping score will remember is named Gora, was out on a trip with him when we were down in Dafar, a kingdom of cannibals. Why they were there on a diplomatic mission, anyone will know. Would not know. File their teeth down. This is obviously glaring for those of you who are aware of the Robert E. Howard stories in which this tribe of cannibals appear. They are quite different. The color of their skin has been changed, obviously, in the early 90s. Note Zula's people have dark skin. They're 99% good, except for this guy here, Gora, the shaman, who was in league as a spy and an agent of the Wrath Amon wizard of Set. And don't forget the whole story here now. Some good wizards all got together and put on a big ritual and cast Set out into another dimension. That dimension is where the serpent warriors and the serpent wizards are from as well. And they were all here at one time, and their god was cast out. God, I say quotes because this is a point of contention too for early 90s cartoons or animation. Is what can we say in regard to gods, demons, so on and so forth. And they believe Zula isn't dead because he was never totally said that he was dead. Gora said that he got out of there when they were already capturing him and there was nothing he could do. So he was assumed dead. Well, Jessamine and Conan, of course, decide, well, that's not good enough. We don't trust this guy. So we're going to go visit. Notice the helmets. Look at it. Skulls and bones just laying around. Human skulls and bones lying about. Jessamine the acrobat. Pretty amazing. Conan able to just use feats of strength to overcome the same obstacles. Uh-oh. A pit on a street at an intersection. And a giant wooden slide that dumps people out in an arena where braziers, or rather torches, almost look like gas lights, are lit every 3 feet all around this huge arena. And Baron Chateau, who is the leader of the cannibals, is already sitting there. He has 2 cannibaless maidens nearby. He is upset that he hasn't been able to get Zula to do fighting for him. And so he coerces them into doing some fighting. All of these vines, these purple lotus flowers, can kill you or put you to sleep or whatever, so do not be messing with them. Of course, he's got to ask Needle if he knows anything about these, because Needle's sort of his encyclopedia of magical and historical knowledge, which is good to have. Well, no, I can't help you with this. Well, you know what? I don't want you in the shield where you can get hurt or taken. So pop out of the shield. This will hurt men, but it won't hurt you. You're a magical creature. Good enough. And you're going to be fighting animals. Oh, that's not good. So the jackals and the lion kind of makes sense in the setting, in the area in which they're in. The bear, not so much. So maybe they import bears from elsewhere. Certainly possible. This is just the in and out of commercial intro and outro. Get back to the action here. Good to see, hey, good day, Heath, from down under. Thanks for popping in. So, the facial expressions of these cannibalistic people is particularly nasty. Thank goodness Zula still has his magic and he can control animals to some degree. So he'll control the lion and say, don't attack us. He'll have a little more trouble with the bear. Perhaps the fact that the bear is not an indigenous creature makes it tougher. There's a little DM tip. Maybe it's tougher to control something that you're not that familiar with. Well, the maidens are impressed. He's upset, though. Pumping your fists in the air is how you express umbrage in an animated show. Well, they make their saving throw, so there you go. Don't forget to give creatures their saving throw, even against magic. They're not... Fortunately, if you've already controlled the two larger animals, it's easy to chase away the smaller ones. Even the maidens are laughing. No, you're not. Now he's got an interesting system set up there, right? Much like a blowpipe on a ship, he is able to call forth servants, and he's got a crystal ball, which puts him in touch with Gora from the Wasa tribe, who has obviously paid him to capture Zula so that Gora will be next in line for the throne down there, and also so that he can gather up the weapons for Wrath Amon. So we've got 3 tiers of treachery going on in here, and there's a good... there's another good DMing tip, is it's good to have multiple layers of evil. Don't put it all on one horse. Pass it around. Make sure that you've got it covered no matter what happens, right? Because you don't want everything ending all at once. Now this is interesting. This is a device, and what do we got? 10 guys on each of those, so we got 20 people powering a mechanical creature, and apparently you can just spin those 2 things and it creates the gears that make the wheels go. If one of those levers that the driver is handling pulls in one direction or another. Also apparently works these 2 giant claws. Oh, and don't forget, it spits hot tar from a bubbling cauldron by use of a giant bellows. Neil, of course, wondering if he should step in and help fight. Okay, it's got the spikes on the wheel, which are tearing up the walls. And, of course, this is the first physical contact we have human on human in this episode. And it doesn't end in death. But, poor Conan, you stop a vehicle suddenly, somebody's going to fly. Jesmond tries to do something, he's thwarted by a claw. Zula tries to do something, thwarted by the tail. Now Jesmond being chased. Fortunately, Conan has come back around and now he's jumped in the way. Captured by the claw. DMs take note. It doesn't need to crush him to death. It can just capture him. And, of course, he can use his brute strength to bust out of the claw, thus destroying one of the 2 weapons, to bust up through the floorboards of the whole mechanical creature. And, of course, it needs to be lit inside, so there is flames. There is flame available if you cut that bellows and have the hot tar, which is flammable, go all over the place, so be it. I thought it's interesting that they take a few frames to show the driver escaping. And even though Conan doesn't actually get his hands on him, we know that he didn't go up in smoke and burn alive. All of that very interesting moralistically when we think of it in terms of how we're presenting a game. We're okay with cannibalism. We're not going to draw the line there. But are we allowed to kill People, animals, anything? No? Alright, well, you bested the beast, you bested my machine, you'll fight each other, only one will survive. No, we won't. The dilemma? Well, here's a bunch of crossbows around the top of the arena, which you can't climb the walls of. So, there is the rock and a hard place there. Zula, being the one with the most sense, talks to Conan and Jesmond about holding off. Live to fight another day. Not a bad idea for DMs to always leave open options, always with the bones and the skulls just laying around. It's crazy. So Conan's chains are a lot shorter here than Zula's, although long enough that he can do that, although moments ago his arms were up behind his back and he couldn't move them any further. I don't know. It all looks a little like you could duck your head under and brace your feet against the wall and pull that secure bolt out of the wall. Anyway, Zula, who knows a little bit about plants and animals, sends some information. Zula's a bit of a druid, right? Sends some information to Jesmond about the lotus flowers. Only one of us can survive. You let the other one live. Well, they start a fake fight. I always thought these tropes were maybe a little overdone, right? So this is the old, we're going to fake a fight so you believe we're actually fighting each other. We're going to fake an argument to show that we're not really as harmonious as we were just yesterday. That we would now believe that we would kill one another rather than all die. Well, you know what? I guess there's the possibility that someone who's morally reprehensible, like the Baron Lord of a tribe of cannibals, would not find that sort of turncoatism amongst his captives all that unusual. Well, they seem to be dead. Yes, I used your flowers to coat my weapons, which I thought they had taken all of, but they gave them back for this, right? For the fight. And I finished them off, so now you gotta be good to your word and let me live, let me go. What was the rule? Well, you know what? Here's one of the guys. So we've got several types of these cannibals, right? We've got the really strong ones who are always on guard. We've got the leader and the ones that originally captured them out on the plains, as well as the one who is in charge of cooking. And they're all extremely heavy-set. And then you've got this one little guy who's the servant, bringing them wine and such, right? Well, Jesmond's looking for her way out here now, right? So she's asking questions and trying to figure out what's what. Unfortunately, the deep sleep that Conan and Zulu in doesn't immediately gain them another saving throw when they're put in a boiling pot that's slowly heating up to temperature. Fortunately, our buddy Needle was there just long enough with the antidote flower to bring them back around so they can escape. Jesmond now finds out that her two companions are on the menu for this fine dinner that they've she's agreed to take part in. Well, she's having none of that, so she's gonna. "You killed my companion." She's actually crying. That was interesting. I did not notice that last time I saw this. Not that she wouldn't, thinking her two friends were dead. So he's going to use one of their swords to kill her. But of course we already know these two have escaped, so now they're piling in. And now they get to get their weapons back. Needles back on the shield. 6-8 guards coming in with the big curved kopeshes. Very nice. They're not armored. This is a setting where armor is fairly rare. They all have the magic weapons, but they can use them non-lethal or subdual damage, if you will. But you know what? Conan wants to bring the whole city down, so he's going to pull a Samson, push a couple of pillars, and they're going to make their escape while everything's falling down around them. Now you would think that it must be understood that a lot of people are dying in this town if everything's crumbling to the ground. "We're going to go save the animals," says Zula. "Be free." Good for him, playing in character. It would have been some points against him, I would think. That would be a DM point of contention. If the druid let some animals die and just saved himself. "Well, you failed me again." This is the second time he's done this. "But it's not my fault." Rathamon, not a big fan of people who shift blame. So he's holding it against Gora. But Gora will shake it off and come up with another plan, we all know. Now, I was saying earlier, and I want to make this point again, that this is the 6th episode on the DVDs, but it's only the 4th one on by original air date. So Christy Marks did the first 3, as we discussed a few weeks ago. Oh, pomegranate juice. Oh, we know Needle loves that pomegranate juice. He's goofy for that stuff, as you can tell. In any event, in the first one, of course, Night of Fiery Tears, Conan's family turned to living stone. The second one, Blood Brother, we meet Zula. Right? Uh-oh. I think we've got to... Well, we'll just do it this way. We will bring back up that close program. Cancel, we don't care. Alright. Done and done. I'm going to do this. I'll stay on here for a little bit myself. Anyway, the points I was trying to make was first 3 episodes, we get the backstory. First episode, second episode, Zula comes on as a companion. Third episode stars Shadazar. They bring in Jesmyn. So now we've got these 3 adventurers together. Plenty enough to deal with the Gladiator episode, since those are the only 3 involved. Heart of Wreck here has the whole sea monster thing going on. And Men of Stone, we haven't seen. A lot of these episodes are way out of order. originally aired as the 9th episode, Shadow Walkers, was the episode we saw last time, the Larry DiTilio written episode. Windfang's Eerie. Okay. Yep. These are kind of all over the place in that regard. So we're going to have to pay a little closer attention, I am, to the air dates of these as we discuss them, because there will be some elements that may not quite fit. This one does stand alone pretty well. We kind of wonder where Grey Wolf is, I suppose. I guess he's got other things to do. In truth, within the series and the way it aired, we hadn't met him yet at this point. So there's another thing. Keep track of your NPCs, says the DM tipster. Make sure that all of your NPCs are accounted for. You keep good track of them. And if they're not going to be around when you would think they should be around, then by all means make sure that you have some sort of explanation for where they are or what they might be doing. In any event, I think that just about covers everything for this episode, for our little DM review of episode 6 of season 1 of Conan the Adventurer animated series. I want to thank everybody who follows the channel, and those in particular that get into the voice chat or the stream chat and chime in when they're here. Thank you to Heath. John, I see you're lurking in there, or you were. Thank you very much, and I will also say, if you're catching up with this on YouTube, thank you there. Subscribe, please. Give us a little thumbs up. Maybe make a comment. Let us know what you think. It's always helpful to get some feedback. And it's going to be a hot one. Stay cool if you're in this area. And probably, hey, what's the temperature in Adelaide? Heath? It must be cold down there, right? Opposite time of the year or opposite season for the other half of the other hemisphere, southern hemisphere. I'm imagining it's fairly cold. Do you have snow right now? Do you get a lot of snow in Adelaide? Is that something you deal with? Up late here writing material for my live stream in 13 hours. Yeah, the Antipodean D20. It's about 8 degrees Celsius. Okay, I'll do the conversion later. I know 0 is 32. 0 Celsius is freezing for us. I'm not sure it's like 1 point something degrees per degree 2. Like 2.25 per degree, right? Because 100's boiling, but it's 212, 214. Oh, man. It's been too long since I knew about this stuff. About 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's cool enough. Maybe 40. Are you expecting any snow anytime soon? Well, stay cool. Do that live stream. For those of you who like gaming and that sort of thing, for sure, if you're on Facebook, check out the Antipodean D20 webpage and make sure you get the no snow in the city, in the hills occasionally, some light dusting of snow. Okay, so doesn't really affect your driving or anything, it just gets colder. So check out his live videos. They're always cool. They're usually about gaming or gaming adjacent subjects. He's one of the best people in the world to know. He's from Adelaide. His name is Heath. He runs the Antipodean D20. So there you go. He's one of my favorite people. You take care of yourself, buddy. We will catch you soon. And the rest of you, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. And we will catch you tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Bye-bye.